Thanks for clicking on State of the City. My name is Todd Prafke. I'm the City Administrator here in St. Peter. Today is January 4th, so Happy New Year. This is my first video blog or vlog for the 2017 year. I'm here to do a couple different things, one of which is to talk about the January 3rd, so just last night's workshop. It wasn't on Monday because Monday was a holiday, so it was on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday the 4th. So talk about that workshop and also visit about a few tidbits of information that I hope will help you as you either work, play, or live here in St. Peter. I also have to make a shout out to a couple of folks that I visited with over the holiday season. Tracy and Steve, who said they were avid video blog watchers, avid State of the City watchers. So thanks for clicking on this, and for all of you that take time to click on this, whether you watch it on our YouTube channel or on Facebook, or whether you catch it off our website. Thank you very much for taking the opportunity to watch it. Also, now we're going to continue to put it on SPPA, so public access. So if you're catching us there, again, thanks again for clicking on us or watching us or turning your dial to us as we give some information about what's going on in the city. So with that, let me get started really quickly. I got to look around the edge, make sure I'm getting this just right. Here's a copy or a look at the agenda that we had from just on Monday night. And so let me talk, I won't talk a lot about all of them, but let me talk about a few of them. First of all is the hospital and the USDA and architectural stuff. Now, George Rorick from the hospital was there to give the council an update. And as some of you know, that not only this year in 17, but in the future, we'll be having continuing discussion about what to do about hospital needs and potential expansion of the hospital. Now I'll go on a limb here and say, we've got to do something. It's hard for me to see that we do nothing. We've got to do something. I think the real question that we're at now is, what level of something are we doing? Is it something related to $1 million improvement, or a $5 million improvement, or a $20 million improvement? I mean, those are the kind of questions that we're really grappling with that the Commission and the Hospital Commission and the Council will be dealing with. So George was at the meeting to talk a little bit about an update in the funding. We've done a pre-application to USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, who does funding for projects like this, and they check on eligibility, and so we're eligible, and now it's really the hard work that goes on, and there are a couple things that go on with that, one of which will be architectural work, and the council and the commission are going to meet together on January 11th out at the hospital and interview a few architectural firms that have expressed interest. Now, there was a process set up by our agent, by our folks that help us with this kind of stuff. And so we had, forgive me for not remembering the right number, I can't remember if it was 8 or 9 different firms that indicated their interest. And so there's a process that's established to kind of narrow that down, and so the commission and the council are going to interview 3 of them. Now, this might seem a little bit out of place because, well, we don't know exactly what we're doing, but for this funding, for USDA funding, we have to have an architect of record. And so this is maybe hiring an architect a little bit earlier than we might normally do, but it'll all work out just fine. This doesn't commit us to a full-blown project or anything like that, but we do have to have somebody on staff to deal with some of the issues that relate to funding and budgeting and other activities that have to go on for that. So anyway, George did a wonderful update, and the council and the commission are going to get together on the 11th to interview some of those candidates. One of the other things, so 3 things: USDA pre-application's looking good. Process for hiring and moving forward with an architect is moving on the right track. The third that the George reported at the commission meeting that I think is really important for everyone to know is that the hospital has reserves, or I think what we might more accurately call operating cash, of about $10 million. Prior to 2008, we were at more than $12 million. And so, as you know, we lost money for a number of years, and now the last couple of years we've made money, but we're back up to $10 million. That should be thought of as operating revenue, and that's a wonderful kind of threshold to meet, and a wonderful level of confidence about what's going on with the hospital and how things are moving in the right direction. So we're excited about that, and glad that George could proclaim that not only at the commission meeting, but at the council workshop just last night. Another item on the agenda was I'm talking about the North Lift Station. So here's kind of a Google Map image as you drive by. This is kind of east of the Dairy Queen there, east of Loggers, east of the Dairy Queen, right next to the Jiffy Lube. This is the area that we're talking about. And so although you can't see it, there's another structure in here that we're looking to do a demolition on. This structure was really put in place in the mid-2000s and it was to pump water underneath wastewater underneath the river through a pipe over to the wastewater treatment ponds out there just east of Whiskey River. And so we no longer use that. Of course, we don't use those ponds for that purpose anymore. We have a wastewater treatment plant. And so some of the work there is to remove that stuff, and there's some salvageable material in there. There's also some hazardous material related to switches and other electronic gear that's in there. And so this is really that start of analyzing what do we need to do, how do we need to do it, how much is it going to cost to make a change out there. Now, I don't expect we're going to start demolition this year or anything like that, but this is really the start of that work and having a thoughtful plan moving forward about this. The next item that I want to mention is that the council discussed was MSA routes, so municipal state aid dollars that we get to take care of certain types of roadways. And so although I'll give you kind of a general impression, here's the overall map of the city of St. Peter with different colors for different designations of roads, and it indicates on there our municipal state aid roads are the yellow ones. I'll get it closer so you can kind of see. From time to time we analyze this in order to manage these dollars that we get and these roads most appropriately. And so from time to time that means changes to, well, where the yellow lines are, changes to the maps. So the council took a look at that last night, and we've communicated with the Department of Transportation, and Gordy and his team over at DOT have been super cooperative with us, so we appreciate what they do. But at an upcoming council meeting, the council will be taking action to modify where those yellow lines are, modified the MSA eligible routes. This is important stuff because we get money and it makes a difference on how we maintain certain types of roads, and our goal is to try and manage those resources to the maximum, obviously, and so from time to time that requires changes. So there are certain roads that are not going to be MSA roads anymore, and that mileage will be moved to other areas where we have larger capital expenditures planned. For example, Gardner, soon to be Jefferson Road would be an example of where we take mileage, we call it mileage, from one location and move it to another location. So anyway, that's kind of the discussion that's going to happen with that one. And then lastly, we had some discussion about the rec department. As some of you may know, we've had some changes in personnel there, some folks that have resigned or retired. And so it's a great opportunity to look at those job descriptions and make sure that we're handling things appropriately. And even more so, thinking about our organization as a whole and how do things flow, how do things work together. So we've had some really good discussion about that over the last 6 months or so. And so this is really some of the work that's coming forward to the council. So watch for that. It's kind of hard to get to on a video blog, but if you have more questions about that, let us know. We're not going up in the number of personnel. We're not going down in the number of personnel. This is more of an opportunity to try and integrate things together and to have a better flow within our organizational structure. So we hope we can do that, and the council's been very supportive of that, and they're going to take some action at upcoming council meetings to modify job descriptions that allow that kind of stuff to take place. Oh, I should mention we don't anticipate any budgetary significant changes related to the budget to any of these changes either. So now to the tidbits. I have to mention that Christmas season is just getting over, and we're going to be picking up Christmas trees here in another few days starting on January 9th, so get them to your curb, not in the street. But I saw a lot of people have them kind of stuck in the snowbank next to their driveway there. That works just fine. We'll come by and pick those up starting on January 9th, or you can take them down to the compost area down there at the corner of St. Julian and Swift Street. Another one that I'll mention is that our city offices will be closed on January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. That's a federal holiday, and so our offices, non-emergency offices, are closed at that day. I also have to mention new transit system. So for a lot of folks, this isn't a big change. For us, it's a change, but for a lot of our users, it's not a big change. But I have to mention the hot sheet, and I got to watch here a little bit. There's the new logo for our joint transit with LeSueur, MRVT. I affectionately call him Mr. VT. So we're really excited about the opportunities that just this provides. And one of those opportunities is a route between LeSueur and St. Peter and Mankato, St. Peter, LeSueur, so folks can get different places for different things. And so we're excited. That's going to start about, it's going to start on the 16th. So if you want more information about that, you can get it in the hot sheet. If you're not signed up for the hot sheet, we can email it to you. Just let us know. I'll give you an email address here in just a few moments, or you can click on our website and get it too. Lots of great information, including stuff about Mr. VT. That hot sheet is really nice. A lot of wonderful information. Barb does such a great job with making sure that that gets put together. Lastly, I'm going to mention that I'm starting to tweet a little bit more. Besides video blogging, I'm going to start tweeting a little bit more, so you can check that out. It's Todd Prafke at Prafke Todd. You can figure that out. If you're a tweeter, you'll know exactly what that means. Be happy to have you follow me and some of the information that we're putting on there. And we'll continue to expand that just as we've done with Facebook and some of the other opportunities that we have. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention urgent care. One of my kids was just in there the other day at the hospital, an important service within our community provided by River's Edge. And then let me get to this before I run out of time. Here's how you can contact me. You can email me there. Here's our website, stpetermn.gov, or we would love it if you would like us on Facebook or give us a call. Always happy to visit or come to your group. Just yesterday I was at Lions talking about some of the things going in town. Be happy to come and visit with your group. I think that's it. I'm over 10 minutes. I try and keep it under 10 minutes, but we try and be fast. But I really want to thank you, and a shout out to everyone that takes time to watch our video blog, State of the City. Thanks again, and we'll see you again in a week or so. Have a great rest of the week.